Hi, and welcome to Something to Talk About. As the title suggests, I love a parade, and I hope you do too. And if you don't, hopefully you will in less than an hour, because we have some awesome guests that we're going to meet momentarily.
I like that.
But before I begin, we have a few little housekeeping rules that we need to take care of. If you would like to speak to one of our guests, you can always give us a call at 781-270-9199. I think that's the number. Yes, I never call, so I always forget the number. Or you can always email me at talk@bcattv.org. In fact, I got an email today with an idea for another show. So if you have another idea, send me a note. I would love it. We have a wonderful crew for this evening. We have award-winning director Jolie Atwood. Congratulations, Jolie. Chris Flaherty, staff member here, making sure we don't set the place on fire. But we know where the fire extinguisher is, so we're good. And Colleen Moore, who is also a very dedicated volunteer here, and I thank them for giving up their Wednesday evenings to come help me at BCAT. And last but definitely not least, I would like to thank my husband, Paul, for staying home for daddy date night. As my daughter informed me, pretty soon she's going to be old enough that she doesn't need a daddy date night. I hope that doesn't happen. But now I would like to introduce my wonderful guests for this evening, Mike Runyan and Nick Priest, who are committee members. You are actually the chairperson.
I'm co-chair.
Co-chair. Yeah. And Nick is committee member extraordinaire for the Burlington 4th of July Parade Committee.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Pretty close.
Well, you know, Independence Day Parade, 4th of July Parade.
Same, yeah, similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Well, thank you for having us.
I think I got an email recently from your co-chair saying that it is less than 4 weeks away.
It always sneaks up on us, despite our best efforts to plan and coordinate.
3 weeks
and,
tonight, I think.
It's about 3 weeks from today. That's right. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Mark your calendars.
I better get my glue gun out and work on my float. Because you were here 2 years ago. I know you were here last year.
Last year.
You were here 2 years ago.
We missed a year. I don't know how that happened.
So it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, 3 years. Your first appearance
Right.
actually convinced me to put a float in the parade.
Yes. Well, good. I hope we can convince some more folks to build a float. It's not that difficult,
It
as you
isn't
can
that
attest,
difficult.
right? It's not that difficult.
Dollar store and a glue gun. What more do you need?
And it's actually it's a nice little family project
So
or
much
neighborhood
fun.
project. It can be a lot of fun.
Well,
yeah.
plus when you sit, you only see so much. But when you're actually in the parade, you see everybody around town. You get to see all your friends.
You see all those happy little faces along the parade route. That's what I like best about it, and that's at the end of the day, that's what
It is a lot of
makes us continue our work
And the
for
ice
the
cream
following
truck
year.
over at Memorial School when you're done.
Is that where he is?
Yeah, he camps out there. He knows the good spots. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome again. Yeah.
As in all of my shows, I like to take a couple of minutes to get to know my guests a little more. So can you guys give me the 10-cent tour of where you grew up, how you got to, well, I think both of you grew up around here, but
Yeah.
how you became involved in the parade committee?
Why don't we start with Nick,
The newcomer.
our newest member.
Watch out. I grew up in Burlington. Was raised here my entire life. And I always loved going to the parades. It was, a highlight of the year. Not just for me, of course. I think everyone in town can attest to how great the parades were. And, when we downsized and, things kind of shifted, I was disheartened, like a lot of folks. Where did the parade go? What's going on? And now that my wife and I are raising our family in town, we have 3 wonderful little kids. I want to help ensure and continue to grow what Mike and the committee has done thus far. That they can have those memories too, and that the other kids at Burlington can experience that.
It is pretty cool. Yeah. Excellent. So you hopped on board.
I hopped on board.
He did hop
Excellent.
on board, and you know what? He's only been with the committee a short period of time, but he's brought a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of good ideas, and some youth. Really, is what we need. We'd like to at some point, be able to pass a baton to the next generation of committee members. So there's plenty of room on our committee.
Okay.
if anyone has an interest in being part of it, we always help them.
Is it too late for this year, or is this year pretty much
Well,
set?
I would say it's never too late for
Yeah.
this year.
Okay.
I think the extra hands are always good to have on deck.
Excellent. Especially for like eliminating confusion at the parade start.
That is
day
that's
of.
the biggest problem. That's
Although it
they're
went really
sort of a
smoothly last year, I thought.
well, because we get a little better each year. We learn from our mistakes. After the parade is over, we
Okay.
get together shortly after. We have a little light luncheon and a little critique of how the events went.
Excellent.
And we're able to improve each year.
Now, do you get feedback from the community, or is it just your perspective?
Oh, we get a lot of feedback from the community, quite a bit. Yeah, people like to write us, or if I bump into people
Yeah.
at the supermarket or at Dunkin' Donuts, wherever I might happen to be, they oh, what a wonderful parade! It's just the right length, a nice mix of music and floats and clowns and all the other things that we have, and then they still have time at the end of the parade to go home and enjoy the rest of the afternoon
Yeah,
with
it's
their
only
family.
like an hour-ish.
About an hour
Yeah.
from wherever you happen to be seated.
So the parade route is it the same as last year?
It is, yeah.
So it's-
We when we took over the duties of organizing the parade,
Okay.
and we were able to get our host sponsor, the American Legion.
Okay.
Of course, they're on Wynn Street, so it only made sense to
Go on Wynn
go back
Street.
to the original route
Okay.
from the car wash onto Wynn Street, ending at Memorial School, which it always was as I was growing up, and I'm
Excellent.
assuming Nick as well.
Well, yeah, the hill going up to the common is kind of challenging for those of us who, you know,
Yeah,
need
and
a little
those-
more exercise, perhaps.
You know, I'm going to kudos to Rotary Club for doing their best and bringing it back. They changed the route a little bit, but you know what? They
Okay.
did a heck of a job, and they were very helpful when we
So
made that
with the-
transition.
With the history, actually, we never introduced you.
Yeah, we've done well the other shows. People remember from the other
Yes.
shows who I am.
People know you. So, brief history. How long has the current committee been doing the parade?
I believe this is year number 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds right.
Okay. Oh, fifth
This is our 5th
anniversary.
year. Yeah,
Big year.
And then Rotary did it before then?
Rotary had done it for a number of years prior.
Okay.
To
And then there was
passing the
like a
baton.
year.
There was a few years. There was
Few
some
years,
some lean economic times, and maybe, honestly, I think it was almost a decade without a parade here in Burlington.
okay.
Yeah,
Shows how much I pay attention.
yeah, maybe a little longer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that's in the past.
It's in the past,
right.
and we're
We
looking
got
to the
5
future.
years going
That's right.
now.
That's Going strong, bringing it back.
Excellent. So what's new this year in the parade?
Oh, yeah, you know what we do? We always, every year, we try to improve on what we've done in previous years. We've got a couple little surprises for you.
Not going to spoil too much.
I don't want to say too
I
much.
told you that. No.
I think folks who've been to the parade in the past, you'll recognize pretty much everybody who was with us last year is coming back. They like the route that we have.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's fairly level. It's somewhat tree lined in areas, so it's kind of a
Yeah.
comfortable route. So the
Early
people,
Wynn Street area is very good for shade.
yeah, it is. Yeah, so people tend to come back year after year.
Excellent.
We've got a few new people coming in, and we've got some. I'm a little excited about these stilt walkers and hula hoop.
Like a carnival,
Yeah,
Almost.
Yeah, definitely more
their,
of a.
their
like a
material.
mobile circus.
Their material, at least that they presented to us, was it looked to be very entertaining, and I'm hoping it looks as good in person as it does on their promotional
Yeah.
material.
If it does, it's going to bring a whole new dynamic to the parade.
Yeah.
On top of
cool.
the bands and the floats and everything else. Now we've got stilt walkers and this whole moving experience. which is
Hopefully, no
gonna be great.
flamethrowers.
I
That
don't
would
think-
be a little
no,
dangerous.
yeah, I don't think we're doing flamethrowers this year.
Okay. This year.
This year.
This year.
There's-
Okay.
Never count out anything.
So, how big? How many band? You mentioned the mobile circus. Well, I called it that, but and some bands. How do you recruit? How do you find out about these? Do people come to you? Do you send out letters to? I don't even know who you'd send letters to.
Being relatively new to the game after we had that long
Okay.
period of no parade, so we sort of lost contact with them. There's a lot of competition in here. Chelmsford,
Yeah,
probably
Chelmsford
our
has big
biggest.
ones.
Their budget is like 4 times our budget. It's a big deal up there in
It
Chelmsford.
is a big deal.
Wakefield and a few other. Dedham has a parade, and so
Well,
we're
Dedham's too far
we're in
away.
competition with a lot of those folks. So it's been a little difficult for us to recruit.
Okay.
As many pieces as we'd like. We're lacking a little bit in the musical marching band type
Okay.
area, so we
Yeah.
try to make that up in other interesting ways.
Okay.
But we sort of seek them out, and we
Do you compare
occasionally
notes with, like, these
people
other
reach
towns,
out.
or
We compare notes, but they don't necessarily
they don't want to
share their contact
Oh,
information.
okay.
it's sort of a closely
They got
guarded
the ace tucked
secret.
in their
Everyone
sleeve.
plays it close to the
They
vest.
kind of do.
Okay.
Some groups will try and get in 2 parades
Okay.
in a day. They might come to Burlington because we start at 11 and then maybe race to
Started 11? I thought we started at 10.
11 o'clock.
11. Okay.
I
Shows
better
how
get
much I
that.
remember.
Better get that absolutely straight. It's 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. And it starts at the no, it starts at the Presbyterian Church?
The Presbyterian Church allows us to use their facilities and
They're very
parking
nice
lot
about
as
parking
sort of a
lots.
staging area for us.
Yes.
And so we line up between there and the car wash. So
Okay.
you can say from the car wash to the Memorial School, and
Okay.
anywhere in between would be a good place to watch.
So it starts at 11.
Correct.
So if somebody were to participate in the 11 o'clock parade, I mean, could they get to another parade?
They
I mean,
could.
other
They
ones
would
in the
let us know.
afternoon?
They'd say, "Look, Mike, we have to be in
Chelmsford.
South Boston or something
Boston,
at
okay.
2 o'clock. Can we be in that first division of people so that we can finish and have time to get to our next destination?" And we have a group from Dedham, for example, that actually drives up. Their parade is at 9 a.m. or something.
Ooh.
They race up here from
Wow.
Dedham, and they're at the tail end of our parade.
Okay. Well, that makes
So,
sense.
so they'll work with us in some cases. Yeah, so we get to share those resources. Which
So
is,
how do you mentioned the divisions? There are 4 divisions?
we've been using 4 divisions,
Okay.
yeah.
And how do you determine who goes in what division? Obviously, like if they're multi-parading.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an art to that. And again, each year during our critique, we discuss, hey, we had some gaps here, we had some gaps there. We had musical groups too close to each other, so they were sort of
Okay.
drowning each other out. So we try to spread all that out in a
Yeah, you don't want like the fire trucks on top of a band. You don't want 2 bands too close together. So I mean, to Mike's point, you have to do your best to keep everyone well spaced, and then each year evaluate where everyone is in each division.
And like the Minutemen with the muskets
Yep.
that fire, you don't want them right next to the horses.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
that would not be pretty.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a strategy to it.
Now, is everybody from last year coming back this year?
As far as I know, I
Just-
believe.
yeah.
And then you got some
I've
new
heard
ones
that.
thrown in the mix.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, we're excited. We think this will be our best yet.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
we talked about, I'm kind of not really looking at my notes, but we
it's
talked about,
okay.
marching in the parade. You have bands, you have other
Yeah.
entertainment, you have community groups like Cub Scouts, Girl Scout. Oh, actually,
Yeah.
Girl Scouts don't do it. Cub Scouts. Does the school organizations
Some
like
of
the
the
band?
some of the
help?
I think it was did the girls win the girls softball champions or some state champs or something last year? I think
Oh, okay.
joined us.
And the robotics team, a couple of
Oh, they're
times,
pretty
had the
cool.
Yeah,
robot.
they come in with the frisbee throwing robot.
Are they doing it again this year?
I believe so.
But yes, yeah, they'll be back.
That's a great draw.
Cool.
I don't know if they have something new
They'll let
this
'em know,
year,
yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah.
They always surprise us.
It's always fun.
Yeah, it
Double
is.
box.
Yeah, yeah,
That always works.
yeah.
Are you planning on, I know we talked about this in the past, like before the parade actually starts, it starts at 11.
Right.
Do you have any events that are planned for like the community? Do you hope to get events either before the parade or after the parade? Like on your wish list, would it be cool to have something on the common afterwards or something at Memorial School because everybody's going to be there? Or
Right.
is that just save it for Celebrate Burlington?
We tried that the first year. Excuse me.
Okay.
When I was growing up, it was always events on the common. Early in the morning, there would decorate doll carriages. There were three-legged races, potato sack races,
Oh,
and things like
fun.
that, and ribbons were handed
Okay.
out. We tried to do that. We're really just a very small
Okay.
committee, and it
It's too
just
much.
didn't work out. We couldn't get enough volunteers to help us. Our goal is we'd certainly love to do that again in the future if we had the resource to do that. And Nick's been
Yeah.
actually pretty good at some different ideas for us to
Okay,
get
you
those
know you're-
resources that we need.
You
So
know
this is the
I'm
future
gonna
of
ask
the
him
parade.
what are
is
some
right
of those
here.
resources and what are some of the tricks up your sleeve if
Well,
you can tell me without having to, kill me when you're done.
No, no, of course not. No. Nothing's that proprietary.
I'd tell you, but then I'd have.
Then I'd have to kill you. No, it's like Mike said. The committee is not huge, and we're doing what we can with what we have. When I came on, I made a huge effort to try and reach out to people of my demographic to say, listen. I think one of the biggest things that a lot of folks in town don't know is that this is a self-sponsored event. This is
Okay.
not, a fully funded town event. This is not run by a myriad of organizations that, all pour in tons of funding. This is run by the people of Burlington and a key select number of, organizations, the American Legion being the primary one. And then, of course, we have corporate sponsors who are our neighbors in the community who really give and help us do a lot. Keurig, Wegmans, Old Town Liquor. They do a lot of great stuff, and they're sponsors of the event, and that's fantastic. But the people of Burlington need to understand that each of us holds a stake in this parade, and so if we want to see it grow and flourish and provide that parade year after year for our children, then we all have to try to do our best to give something, whether that be a little bit of time beforehand, during the parade. A couple of very generous folks have been making phone calls. We put together a brand new sponsorship list, future sponsorship list. It was about 55 companies here in Burlington
Wow.
that they call Burlington home, and so we wanted to reach out to them and see if they'd be willing to get involved. And I have to say, from what I've seen so far, we've been seeing some positive feedback. Hopefully, that materializes into more sponsorships for the
Sweet.
parade.
Yeah.
But it's about having the manpower to if in a perfect world, yes, we'd say, hey, come to the common at 9 from 9 to 11. We're gonna be doing all this great stuff, and then go find your lawn chairs and get ready for the parade. Then go home, cook out, and then come back for the fireworks.
Are there fireworks this year?
Yes,
Yes.
it's been a huge draw, and people love it.
Wow.
I mean, last year I don't think. You said at the last meeting there wasn't a blade of grass visible.
No.
It was packed. And it was great.
And it has been the 4th of July fireworks display, at least for the last 2 years when I've actually paid attention, has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's like really cool. Are they still being launched from behind the rec center this year? Do you know that yet?
I believe so. Yeah. Everything
Okay.
will be the same as last year.
So hanging out on the common. Last year you actually had a band perform leading up to the fireworks. Is that going to happen
Ditto.
again this year?
Ditto. Former police chief Fran Hart.
Oh, it is Beatles tribute?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll be back again. They'll start. Are they starting at 6
I've,
6 p.m. I think.
Something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So they'll provide some entertainment.
Excellent.
Up until the fireworks.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
When it gets dark.
Let me. As long as we're talking about the fireworks, I
Okay.
have to your listening audience. Although we all, Nick pointed out, we've got very large crowds. We have a wonderful time up there. However, parking has been a bit of an issue
Oh, yeah.
in the neighborhood surrounding the town common. So I would like people to think about perhaps utilizing parking lot here at the high school, because the police
okay.
will be out. We're going to be putting up some temporary no parking signs
Okay.
in certain areas of town where we had some issues in the past.
Oh,
So
okay.
you might want to consider
Okay.
parking is a bit of a problem.
Okay. Now, sometimes, not to put you on the spot, but
Yeah.
sometimes when there are athletic events going on at Simons Park, sometimes that side field is used as a temporary parking lot. Is that going to be an option, or is that like a viewing area?
Yeah, it's rec really.
Or you don't want to
um,
talk about it? Because we didn't change
I'm
the
not exactly
subject.
sure. Well, I mean, you don't want 500 cars parking on your lawn. I mean, those
That's
guys
true.
work hard to keep that
Okay.
looking pretty spiffy throughout the
And
year.
they do an
so,
excellent job.
I would. They may allow it for that event. I'm not sure.
Fine paving.
We'll have to talk to
Okay.
Brendan about that and
Okay. We
get
can
his
find
thoughts on it.
paved options.
That would be preferred.
That works as well.
Yeah,
Yes. Show up early and you'll get a better spot.
absolutely.
All right. Now, Nick was talking about sponsorship.
Yes.
So if someone or a company were to sponsor the parade, what do they get in return? I mean, you don't have like T-shirts with their name on the back, do you?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Oh, okay. But soon.
But soon. I'm telling you, big plans.
So
Big
how do you,
plans.
yeah, what is the recognition right now for somebody to sponsor?
Right. So right now, they definitely go in the program, and they're definitely on the website. They get social media notoriety, and as we move forward, we want to start recognizing them, through banners or visible signage, along
Okay.
the parade route. Maybe sponsored T-shirts. I think what's great is that the company that's sponsoring can also kind of pick, like, hey, we want to sponsor a float.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
I know a lot of companies now, they do what's called like volunteer days, right? Where they say everyone in the company gets a day and you can go volunteer time, and maybe they work in conjunction with their employees to say, you know what, we're going to sponsor the float. You guys build the float and it's going in the parade. Something along those lines could be great.
That would be fun.
I mean, we even just had an email, I believe it was yesterday, got an email from a company that they had a couple questions, and one of them was, can we make sure that if we're able to sponsor something, all of it goes toward the parade and not the fireworks? So they have a very specific kind of ask. And I
Okay.
said, absolutely, because you're helping us.
Yeah.
Right. You're doing us an absolutely huge favor. If you want the funds that you're sponsoring to go towards something specific,
Okay.
absolutely.
We can
make that happen.
Cool.
We do currently have different levels of sponsorship for our corporate
Okay.
neighbors here in Burlington. If someone wants to be at that certain plateau, their banner, their 8-foot banner, is carried along the parade route, and sort of the perks sort of trickle down from there. But our top platinum sponsor is Keurig.
Okay.
Keurig, who calls Burlington home. They're the North American headquarters.
And they
They're
have good
wonderful.
coffee and good
They
coffee
do make a
machines.
great coffee machine.
Great neighbor in town.
They really are. They're happy to be here in Burlington. They like being part of the community. They want to integrate
gonna have
into
a
the
float?
community.
No.
They
Not yet.
no.
Not yet. Okay. It's one of those things that if I told you, then you wouldn't go to the parade and you wouldn't know. So,
Yeah, but it costs. I think folks need to understand that it costs money to run a parade, and the fireworks. The fireworks are.
fireworks
I
are
mean,
expensive.
They're
Fireworks
very
are not
expensive on the 4th of July. They're about 4 times as expensive as they
Wow.
are for, say, Burlington Day.
Okay.
Supply and demand thing. Okay.
Because it's also not just the fireworks, but it's the company to launch them, because you can't just have some random person
Oh no,
in town.
no, no. This is a
with-
professional. It's a
Yeah.
very professional operation. But of
And
course,
like I've seen, like on PBS and stuff, they have like computer generated programs to make sure they launch in sequence and everything. And
yeah.
now, does the fire department have to be present at?
They will be there. We'll
Okay.
have a couple of fellows up there
'Cause,
before, during, and
pyrotechnics
after, just to
is-
make sure that folks keep their distance, and God forbid we have any mishaps,
Yeah.
they're right there to get the response started. But so
Excellent.
far so good.
Yeah.
That industry is pretty, they've come a long way. Although you do from time to time hear about a mishap here and there, but hopefully that doesn't happen here in Burlington.
Understood. But we will be prepared.
That's right.
We will.
So with the sponsors,
Yeah.
tell me more. Tell me more. How would someone become a sponsor?
So the most direct ways to contact us through our website,
Okay.
BurlingtonJuly4th.com.
Is
we
it
have
4TH or FOUR? Okay.
Yep. And there's a sponsorship form they can fill out.
Okay.
I believe Mike's contact info is also there as well if they'd like to reach out and email somebody with specific questions before they fill out the form.
Okay.
Which is what a lot of the folks who we've been calling have been asking questions ahead of it, because it's their first foray. These aren't folks that have been sponsors before.
Okay.
But that's probably the fastest way. And I will say now, for anyone who goes to the website, we're currently under heavy renovations.
Okay.
So they may experience some technical
So go through
difficulties.
Facebook.
So go through Facebook or email Mike directly if you have his email. I know you'd love that.
Yeah.
An inbox
I don't
full
mind.
of emails.
That's
Yeah,
what I-
but we're,
that's what
we're
I
not
signed
going to
up
put that
for.
up on the screen. But the anyway.
Yeah, they can get in touch with us. We're not
So
hard. We're
do
not hard
you-
to find.
You mentioned new sponsors just now,
Mm-hmm.
but for prior sponsors, like Keurig has done it in the past, American Legion has done it in the past, do you go back to the same people or same companies saying, hey, you want to sponsor us again?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do most of
Short
them
answer is
say
yes. Yes, I do.
Yep.
And you know what?
Okay.
They all say yes. And as long as we're talking about sponsors, let me
Oh,
just.
I love talking
Do you
about
mind if I just tell you
Go for it.
some of these people? And I know that you people out there, you're going to recognize every single one of them because they not only do they sponsor our 4th of July parade, but they sponsor just about any other event that goes in Berlin. I just can't say enough about these people. Mike over at Old Town Liquors, our good friends from Wegmans, the Gutierrez Company, Bob Buckley from Reamer and Bronstein,
Okay.
Herb Chambers. Not
Is he
only-
doing fireworks again? Because in the
He's not-
past, hasn't
I
he?
remember they did completely sponsor fireworks. I forget what this
years ago.
particular event was. I don't know if it was we were celebrating an anniversary or something in town or something like that, but they sponsored that entire event. But they've been a sponsor with us. They provide the automobiles for our outstanding citizen.
Which we'll talk about soon.
And others, whatever we need.
And the Marshal.
Whatever we need,
Okay.
it's just a phone call
Phone
to
call,
Herb
right.
Chambers people, and they're right there. Michael Scola and Paul Scola, Burlington guys, they own Boston Sword and Tuna.
Oh,
They've been
okay.
sponsoring us for a few years now.
Cool.
Yeah, it's great to have Burlington folks here and
Yeah.
step up and help sponsor us. Nordblum over at 3rd Ave. Visit 3rd Ave. If you haven't been to 3rd Ave lately, you're
How can you
missing-
not go to
I
Third
know.
Ave? I
It's
mean,
pretty exciting
Lot of
down
great
there,
stuff.
in the district. It's all, kind of happening in
Excellent.
place. You don't have to go to the city anymore
Exactly.
now. And Leahy Health, of course. Leahy Health,
Excellent.
staple in town.
Yeah.
Wonderful folks. But again, all those folks, they have just been wonderful corporate neighbors in Burlington, and just can't say enough about them.
Now, does it have to be a corporate sponsor,
No,
or
we have to get
can
some-
individuals sponsor?
Anybody can
That's right.
sponsor. Anybody, you want to donate a few dollars while you're up on the common watching the fireworks to help us make sure that we can bring this event back to you next year.
Yep.
Throw a couple of dollars in the bucket
Yeah.
for it. We'll be more than happy to accept your donation.
Like we said, this is a self-sponsored event. So
Okay.
outside of the corporate, sponsorships and the contributions that the town does put into it, any amount from
Well,
residents.
Like you had said earlier, this is a community-sponsored event, so it's kind of nice to have that warm, fuzzy feeling about all your neighbors,
Yeah.
participating in some way, shape, or form.
Right. And this year we're going to give Venmo a go. I know that as year after year, as time goes on, we all find ourselves carrying less cash in our pockets. And so, there are a lot of folks, myself included, who find ourselves in a moment in time wanting to give with literally no cash on hand.
Yeah.
And Venmo is a great way for folks to, digitally donate some funds.
Cool.
I mean, it could be 50
Yeah,
cents.
I'm
it could
beyond
be
that.
$1.
You know,
when-
my
when
smartphone is
he
smarter
brought
than
it
me.
up at a meeting, and we're all pretending we knew what he was talking
Okay,
about.
Nick, go ahead. You take care of it.
Yeah,
That's what
Sure,
I'm
Nick,
here-
great
that's what I'm here
idea.
for.
whatever you want to do. Go ahead. Didn't have a clue what he was talking about.
Okay.
And I think he read
What
our
did we just sign up for?
he read our faces and he told us what that was all about. Still not clear on how it was.
Modern technology.
It's going to be great.
Swell.
It's going to be great.
Sweet. Okay, so we mentioned the parade marshal. Do we have a parade marshal this year?
We have, and people, I need to explain what we do here.
Yes.
We have two. We have two things going on here.
Okay.
Because the American Legion is our host sponsor,
Okay.
and we use their facilities and their resources and so on and so forth. And they're a veterans organization, they're a 501c3 charitable organization, but more importantly, they're a veterans organization. And they choose a local veteran to represent the American Legion.
Okay. Now, when you
And
say local, is it specific to Burlington, or is it just Burlington or surrounding?
it always has been
Okay.
local veterans. We've got enough local
We have
veterans
plenty,
here in
yes,
Burlington.
that's
We
true.
really don't have to look outside
Okay.
the area. So they choose the parade grand marshal.
Oh.
Okay. Now because it's limited to veterans, and so the candidates are sort of we
There's
don't
a
have
finite pool.
It's a finite pool for that. And so a few years ago, we decided, you know what? There's a lot of other folks here in Burlington who deserve some recognition. So we created that outstanding citizen.
Was last year the
category.
first year?
No, we've had it. We've had
Okay.
we've had a few. We had Al Fay. We
Al
had John and Virginia Mooney.
I thought he was a marshal.
No,
Okay.
I think he was outstanding citizen.
Okay.
The two of them. I'm trying to think back, drawing a little bit of a
All right.
blank.
I
but,
thought Al Fay was
we've
the
had,
first one because John Mooney was a veteran. But anyway, okay. So
Yeah.
so
So
who's
we have two categories.
the
yeah.
grand? So the grand marshal is someone with a military background,
Correct.
a veteran,
That's right.
and then the outstanding citizen
That category is open up townwide.
is open up to any outstanding citizen
Right. Yes.
from Burlington.
Right.
Okay. Let's start with the grand marshal. Can you tell us?
Yes, I'd be happy to tell. Proud to tell
I wasn't
you.
sure if it was a secret.
Not a secret, but the American Legion had chosen him actually quite some time ago. We knew last year
Oh,
that,
okay.
that Mr. Ken Ramsdell was going to be the Grand Marshal this year.
Okay. Excellent.
Sadly, Mr. Ramsdell passed recently, but he is still going to, in memorial, will be our Grand Marshal, and he is an excellent. He's on your screen there right now. So if you don't know
Okay.
his name, if you've ever been to a Memorial Day event or
Yeah,
a,
he
or a
does look very
Veterans Day
familiar.
event in this town for the past 30 years, you would have Ken was there.
Now, is there a family member to represent him in the parade, or
There's not. We are. I think what we're going to do is have a car
okay?
with some black bunting,
Oh, okay.
an empty rear seat
Oh, okay.
with Ken's name and
Okay.
on the side of the car.
Because that's probably not something that you come across every day where you've had to do something different. So I was just curious how
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah, it works. He was. I knew Ken pretty well myself.
Okay.
He really was a wonderful guy, kind of a quiet guy. He was with the Burlington school system for 32 years. Spent
Wow.
spent most of that at Pine Glen. The kids that went to Pine Glen certainly going to know him.
Okay.
Just a,
My kids
just a
go to Pine Glen
wonderful
now.
guy, kind of a quiet guy, but a real teddy bear, but very, very, very proud
Excellent.
veteran in Burlington,
Good
and was
choice.
very active in Veterans Affairs all across Massachusetts, and
Excellent.
the entire area. He's been to Washington and other places as
Wow.
well. So
Now, does the American Legion ask for nominations, or do they just know?
their membership
Okay.
will, as we do
I'm
with
sorry,
the
I'm just not
outstanding
familiar with the
citizen,
structure of.
Their membership will submit nominations
Okay.
to their executive board for consideration, and it's not difficult to choose. To find, we've got no shortage of
Okay.
wonderful veterans here in Burlington to choose from.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So now, outstanding citizen.
It's very exciting.
Do we need a
news.
drum roll?
A little drum roll.
Okay.
You
Messing
wanna-
with Jolie and
Yeah,
the audio levels. Sorry, Jolie.
That's okay. Well, yeah. No, this year our outstanding citizen is none other than Dottie Yaden.
Yay!
That's what all the kids say.
Yeah.
Dottie is so cool. There
She's
she
the best.
is.
Yeah.
With who is that? Is that
That's-
Gronkowski behind him?
Yeah. Rob Gronkowski was there too. Yeah.
Of course.
Big day.
He's not going to be in the parade though.
But she's with Terry Clement. They were in
Oh,
that
Terry, that's the
photograph.
co-chair.
Yeah. Yes. She was.
All right. She looked familiar, but I'm like, I don't remember who that is. So yay, Dottie.
Yeah.
She's like also at every single
Yeah.
event in her big yellow school bus.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're
Great.
really pleased to choose Dottie this year. You know, she's been taking care of our kids in Burlington
Forever. Well,
for
maybe not forever.
for well over 20 years. There's generations of children that have
Everybody
had the
knows our
pleasure
children.
of riding with
Yeah.
Dottie, whether it was a regular school bus route or a field trip or a sporting event. She just loved being with the children, and she treated them, each and every one of them,
Like her kid.
as if they were her own
Yeah.
children. And I think, as most people know, that she's currently having some personal
Yeah.
hardships and issues that have sort of
Kind of-
sidelined her a little bit,
right.
and we wish her nothing but the best.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yay!
That's great
Yeah.
news. Yeah.
So how was, we talked a little bit about, yay Dottie, I'm very happy, yay Dottie. How was that process chosen? Is it, nominations, or does the committee just kind of say, okay, who do we know around town that, are there like a set of questions, or is it a free form? How do you,
There's
tell me more about the nomination or the selection process
I
for
think-
outstanding citizen.
by now a lot of folks are very aware that there's an outstanding citizen that's a part of the 4th of July parade. And so around this time we get an outpouring of letters, emails, phone calls from
Okay.
everyone, with their nominations. And then, we gather it all up, and as a committee we sit down and, review everything and, make the decision.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess
No pressure.
We're obviously
Right, yeah, no,
we're
no
we're obviously doing a better job of getting the word out, because this year we had a total of 9 nominations.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we heard from, we might have had 20 or 30 people nominate this one person. So we heard from virtually hundreds of residents, and this is kind of exciting for
That
us this
is
year,
really
okay?
cool.
We might have had 30 or 40 people call us to say, hey, how about Donnie, or how about this one, how about that one? Well, let me just say, all 9 candidates were certainly worthy of that honor.
Oh, cool.
With no question, and I know there's dozens of more people in Burlington.
Yeah.
But I think Dottie's story sort of tugged on the heartstrings of the
Yeah.
committee this year, and
She's been a
tended
very
to.
popular lady lately.
She really has, yeah. But the other thing, keep in mind, is though, and we've run across this in the past. We've had some people who've been nominated, who again, wonderful people, done wonderful things for the community.
Mm-hmm.
When we approach them and say, listen, we'd like you
They
to
say
be.
no.
They're flattered, but they're also very humble people, and it's thank you, but no thank you. I guess it's not really everyone's cup of tea to sit in
Yeah.
a car and ride along the parade route. So we've had in the past
People
some
that-
very, very, very
Wow.
qualified people. But it was a fun. It was kind of, I think it was a fun process to see
Yeah.
so many different people in the community start to get involved in that with us. So we're looking forward to more of that.
Your
in the
dream is
coming
working.
years.
That's right.
Yeah.
One day at a time, 1 year at a time.
Yeah.
There you go. One parade at a time.
That's right.
Just put one foot in front of the. Oh, sorry, that's Christmas.
That's okay. It applies.
It applies for exactly. It's a parade. You
That's
gotta.
right. You got to put one foot in front of the other.
Now, I remember your answer from last year, but I'm gonna ask you again this year.
Fine.
The parade route is roughly 2 miles.
Believe so.
There's
about 2 miles. Yeah.
a boatload of people along the route.
Yeah.
Last year, it was like 90-something degrees in the shade.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was.
Oh, I didn't think it was too. I didn't think it was too terrible.
Well,
but-
It was warm.
Regardless, it could be 90
Or
degrees.
2 years ago.
It
I don't know.
might be
But-
90 degrees in the shade. Yeah.
Yeah.
This year.
Potentially.
Right.
Okay. Are there any safety protocols or first aid options for any of the either parade participants or the spectators? I mean, has that ever been considered?
It has been considered. We did. Of course, we've got plenty of police officers there for traffic control, crowd control.
Okay.
And we did consider, how do we get some, some EMTs down there, perhaps for, should we need them right off the bat. The problem is getting them mobile. I mean, we don't want to put park an ambulance somewhere. It doesn't really
Yeah.
make any sense. It's only, 100 yards from headquarters
Right.
to the center of town. But I've been to other events where they've had EMTs in like golf carts or something like that.
Okay.
And we don't have a golf cart or one of those type of vehicles. We'd like to have one. In fact, the
Little
the one
segues.
we sort of beg, borrow, and steal from our friends over
Oh, we
in
don't steal.
Woburn.
Just temporarily displace.
Borrow.
We borrow one over there, but we did look into that. We called around a little bit. I think Lexington had one, and we sort of toyed with the idea of maybe borrowing theirs, and then we're going to have some liability issues and all that other stuff.
Well, I know it's hard for a small committee, so I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm just
no, but
thinking,
it's been considered, and if we have the resources and the funding to do that and
So
maybe purchase
spectators-
something like that for events like this
Right.
for the community, we'd be happy to do so.
I think we
yeah.
definitely want to say, though, as spectators, come prepared.
yeah.
Just like
Sunscreen,
exactly.
water, yeah.
Check the weather the night before. Check the weather the morning of. If it's going to be hot, bring water. Stay hydrated. Wear your sunscreen. Try to find a shaded place to sit. Do what you can. If you're feeling faint, like Mike said, grab one of the officers that are on duty. Seek preventative help without
Be a little proactive.
exactly before anything serious may happen.
Yeah, we're not out there that long. It's not like
No, it's not that
you're out
bad.
there all afternoon and stuff. I think most folks come prepared. They've got a little cooler or something with them. We're seeing a lot more now with those little pop-up tents and stuff
Yep.
Yeah.
along the parade route.
Little beach umbrellas.
Yeah. Now, of course, those seasoned veterans of the marching bands and things like that, of course, they have staff that walks along with
Yep.
them with bottles
Coolers.
of water, spray bottles, things like that. So something that
Squirt guns! No.
like
No,
even,
no, no.
even the Cub Scouts and things like that, when the troop leaders know enough
Yeah.
to bring a little something along the parade route if it's going to be
Exactly.
really unpleasant.
Yeah.
So we think we've got that pretty much under control.
Now, something that just kind of popped into my mind, so it's not on my cheat sheet, but traditionally and historically, people in the parade hand out little goodies along the parade route. What happens at the end of the parade with all the extra stuff that's like left? Is there a lot
I
of
eat it.
cleanup? Okay.
It's
No,
got to
but
go
I'm just-
somewhere.
I'm just wondering, is that like a stress on the town of Burlington to get the street sweepers out and clean it, or has it not been a huge issue?
It
or-
hasn't been. We did have some residents voice some concerns. There was a confetti cannon used one time.
Okay.
But that confetti is biodegradable. We were talking about biodegradable items. I
Okay.
mean, it's gone within 48 hours.
Okay.
And if it rains, it's gone even before then. It really hasn't been a problem. We have DPW and rec staff
Okay.
working the day of the parade. We've got barrels around the common for fireworks. They tend to, they'll tidy up afterwards. But most people have been pretty responsible,
Okay.
you know, getting rid of their disposables. Has not been a real issue.
Good. So our concerned citizens are staying concerned and
We
you
get
know,
a good,
every
we
little
get
bit.
a great
Leave
group
no
of-
trace.
We get a great group of people here in Burlington.
We
I
do.
just can't say enough about it.
Do. Do you have any other advice? We talked about safety issues, but advice, is there a reviewing stand or are there particular areas of the parade route that you would like to suggest or
I think people have.
hidden
I
secrets?
mean, when I was a kid, it was, you know, certain area down by where Dunkin' Donuts was. I know
Okay.
Janice Archer, for example, lived on Thomas Street, so she tends to go
Be
back
right there,
to stand
yeah.
at Thomas Street and
There's
watch
nice
from
shade there,
there.
too.
There is some nice shade. That's a pretty prime spot. I think people stake out their spots kind of early, and it probably
Yeah.
depends. Also, your exit strategy would be important.
That's a big
okay?
one.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of exit strategy, what are the plans for road closures? Are there plans for road closures?
Always.
course.
Always.
Of course, there are plans for road closure. We have to. We work very well
So-
with Jerry McDonough from the traffic division of the police department. We
Okay.
sit down with him each and every year, map everything out, and there's a whole sequence of events of road closure.
Okay.
Cambridge Street will be closed from Wilmington Road to Skilton Lane at 9:30 this year. We've asked for an additional.
Oh, okay.
We asked for an additional half an hour.
Now, can people get down Wilmington Road? Like if they're coming from Billerica down Cambridge Street? Is
Yes,
that like
they'll
the
have
detour?
to be detoured up Wilmington
Okay.
and maybe go up and over Beaverbrook or something to
Okay.
to get around it. But they're only gonna do sections at a time. So they're gonna close that section so we can do our staging.
Yep.
Okay, then
Okay.
when the parade kicks off, they'll block Cambridge and Wynn. After
Okay.
the parade passes by, they open it up again to traffic. So,
okay.
and it sort of trickles all the way along the parade route that way.
That works.
Yeah, they've got it.
So
they've got
get
it down
Google
pretty
Maps
good.
out and make sure that you find an alternate route
Yeah.
and a
Some-
good route with
Yeah.
parking.
Some folks will be inconvenienced.
But it's a
just nothing
parade!
I can do about it. Right.
It's
Nothing we can do.
parade!
We try to we
Enjoy
try to
it!
limit the inconvenience.
Exactly.
You should be going to the parade.
Exactly.
Shouldn't be going anywhere else.
There you go. Yeah. If you're stuck in traffic, get out of your car
That's
and
right.
watch the parade.
Okay,
And people
well,
do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm kind of going out of order. We talked about sponsorship already. Fundraisers. What kind of fundraisers have you done? And I know we're running short on time before the parade, but do you have any last minute fundraisers that you're trying to fit in?
So we held an event back in April, and we had Burlington's own Stan Jr. Come down, and we also did it was a silent auction, right?
Yeah.
And raise some money that way, and that was
Okay.
a really great turnout. Held at the American Legion over the street. It was great. So that was a big thing that we did this year.
Okay.
And now between now and the parade, I think we're really focused on, making sure the word's out, doing everything logistically to ensure, success for the day of.
Are there like little flyers that are going to be around town? Or
Yep.
okay, I wasn't sure like the posters like this size at True North or anything.
Yep. We're going to be trying to get some stuff out, very, very soon.
On BCAT.
Obviously
Yeah.
on BCAT, and really just get the word out and let folks know. And then, day of, obviously happy to accept donations from folks who are, looking to get rid of some loose change.
Okay.
I
And
think we may have some little trinkets up on the.
Yep. So for the fireworks,
Okay.
when the band starts, it's 6, right? We said 6.
Right.
We're also going to be having some glow light up trinkets, if you will, for purchase, and that all proceeds go directly
Oh.
back to the parade.
Okay. I thought that was just like vendors for their own. But I'm glad it goes to.
There might be vendors
Okay.
showing up
Okay.
We don't have any contracts with any vendors. We
Okay.
didn't want to go down that road.
Understood.
So if there's an ice cream guy there or someone else selling
Well, I just
glow
remember like the
sticks,
little
they're-
carts with the glow toys.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, if they're there, they're on their own.
Oh, okay.
I've had a few inquiries. I've told them, I've directed them to the
So how
town
do we
clerk's
know-
office for proper permits. But
How do we know that the trinkets are for the committee?
The committee trinket people,
Yes.
as I'll call them right now,
Yeah.
because there's no other appropriate name at the moment. We'll have appropriate signage
Okay.
that clearly denotes.
Help next year's parade.
Yes, absolutely.
Or finish,
Yeah.
pay our bills for this year's, you know.
yeah. I just want to give you some idea, for the folks at home listening, some idea. Our budget is somewhere around $40,000 to put on that parade.
Okay.
So it costs a fair amount of money to do that. Now,
That actually doesn't seem like a lot of money for a parade. Because like some of the bands themselves, aren't they like super expensive?
some of them are. I mean, but they've got uniforms and instruments and things and
Transportation,
transportation and
too,
all
yeah.
that. Yeah. So we don't have a problem paying them to have them out here.
Right.
But it all adds up. But a large chunk of that budget goes to public safety. Obviously, we need
Okay.
to have the public safety out there. So there's a lot of costs involved in doing this. Town meeting is gracious enough to help us
Okay.
with a considerable amount of money each year, and the rest is left up to us to find sponsors and the good people of Burlington to help us put on the show.
Excellent. Now, what happens if the weather doesn't cooperate? Which it will.
It's game on. You might recall our first year. We had that Hurricane Harvey or whatever the heck it was come up right on our
I kind of
heels.
blocked that out of my memory.
A lot
so-
of communities canceled their 4th of July events this year,
Wow.
or at least postponed them. We went ahead with ours, and we got it in just under the wire. I mean, that last division, it started to rain, right toward the tail end, but
Yeah,
well,
okay.
we got it in. We don't have a rain date. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
We're
Rain or shine.
rain or shine. We're going.
Yep.
And the band members do not have umbrellas, so
You know
Come
who
out and
the
support
you
'em
know
and
who
get
you
your
might
own
not
umbrella.
see. You know who was a fickle group of those antique car people. Okay, if there's even a hint of rain, we probably won't see those folks.
Okay. But there are antique cars if it sun
Yeah.
shines.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now last year the big addition was the little Shriner car. Was it the Shriner cars?
Mm-hmm.
See, one of the drawbacks of being in the parade is I don't get to see what else is going on.
Right.
Because I was like Division 4. But they were around last year. Are they coming back?
They are.
Fun.
Yeah.
Even more.
Wow. Now, we already talked about in an ideal world, but what do you hope to accomplish this year as well as like maybe next year? Or the 5-year plan?
That's where this guy comes
My
in. Okay?
visionary.
That's where Nick comes in, and that's where he's been a real asset, is with an eye towards the future, with his next generation of folks who are more savvy in marketing and
Okay.
tech and things like that. Where my little group we're from the paper and pencil generation. I hate to say it, I have to admit it, but we are. So Nick can probably talk about what we might see down the road
there's
here.
only so much technology, in my not so educated opinion, that what can you do for a parade?
Well, Venmo is a good example. I mean,
Yeah.
who knew
Yeah.
about that? Didn't know anything about that.
Technology, just like years before, it's all about what kind of a tool it is and what purpose you can form it to help you.
Okay.
And Venmo is a perfect example of that. Is that what's the problem? People don't have cash on them anymore, right?
Okay.
How do we help adapt ourselves so that folks can still contribute in a meaningful way?
Oh,
Right?
okay.
And Venmo is a great solve for that. Like I mentioned earlier, we're completely overhauling the website, making it very user-friendly, very easy access to information. easy, fillable form, so folks can, just drop in some information and contact us. Just nice and easy. We want to get the message out that, like we mentioned a couple times, this is a community-driven event, right? So however you can give back, right? This is one of those big moments that Burlington has. Our 4th of July parade is one of the biggest days that we have in town. So, and if this isn't it for you, then find something that is, right? But I'm a huge advocate of, creating a real sense of community, right? Burlington isn't so big that we can't.
Right.
We are, in my opinion, just the right size to do a lot of great things with the people we have. In terms of this year, my hope is that everything runs super smooth.
Well, last year it seemed to go really well,
and
from my my
hope,
point of view.
Yeah, and we hope for the same success this year. I think, like Mike said, every year we get a little bit better, and I think hitting our 5-year mark this year, is gonna really mean something for the fluidity of the way the committee's been doing things, and seeing success from that standpoint. Looking forward, I think it's not even about having a 5-year plan right now. I think it's about just evaluating where we are at 5 years, and then taking at first just a 1-year step, right? So how can we make it easier for folks to get involved throughout the year?
Okay.
Maybe have a couple fundraisers throughout the year. Change it up, do some different types of fundraisers.
Okay.
That will interest people of different varieties, right? I think as great as Stan Jr. Is as a fundraising idea, as a performer, he did a fantastic job. That's a select group of people who want to go and see that. And so how do we start looking at other ways to really involve the community at large? Give them a reason to want to throw their hat in the ring. And then little by slow, grow the volunteers, right? You don't have to be a full-time committee member. You don't need to come to every meeting or track every email. Just stay engaged, stay in contact with your point person, and give back where you can, when you can. And then from there we're gonna like I said, 1 year at a time, and we're gonna see see what we can do. I think because we've become so refined over the past 5 years, maybe, and this is just me spitballing, the next 5 years is what does sustained growth look like, right? Could we make the parade a little bit bigger or meatier, if you will? This year we've got the stilt walkers and the roving circus, as you called it.
The mobile circus.
How do we start to diversify and really refine the parade itself?
Okay.
So
cool. Yeah. Well, believe it or not, we are out of time.
I know that. I'm looking at your
I know you're
teleprompter over there.
spying
I
on my
noticed that I
countdown.
was, yeah.
But I want to thank both of you guys for coming and sharing all the exciting adventures that we're going to have in 3 weeks.
Awesome.
And
Thanks for allowing us
counting down.
to promote the event.
And I'm very much looking forward to participating in this year's parade.
Absolutely.
And I hope everyone at home is interested in joining us at the 4th of July parade along Cambridge Street and Wynn Street. Hope to see you out there. And in the meantime, I will see you around town. Good night.